All right, mornings in the Word, Tuesday morning. Thank you for watching today. Today we're going to be continuing in James. I think we might do that for a little bit here, is just work through James. I think James is my favorite book, has been for a while, and it's just so good. Everything is good in it, and the Lord speaks to me through James, it seems like. So we're going to continue that. We're going to get moving here because we got a lot to talk about today. So, all right. So James 2, we did James 2, 1 through 13 yesterday. I'm going to pick it up in verse 14 right now. And the title is Faith Without Good Deeds is Dead. So here we go. What good is it, dear brothers and sisters, if you say you have faith but don't show it by your actions? Can that kind of faith save anyone? Suppose you see a brother or a sister who has no food or clothing, and you say, "Goodbye, have a good day, stay warm, and eat well," but then you don't give that person any food or clothing. What good does that do? So you see, faith by itself isn't enough. Unless it produces good deeds, it is dead and useless. Now, someone may argue, some people have faith, and others have good deeds. But I say, how can you show me your faith if you don't have good deeds? I will show you my faith by my good deeds. You say you have faith, for you believe that there is one God. Good for you. Even the demons believe this, and they tremble in terror. How foolish. Can't you see that faith without good deeds is useless? Don't you remember that our ancestor Abraham was shown to be right with God by his actions when he offered his son Isaac on the altar? You see, his faith and his actions worked together. His actions made his faith complete. And so it happened just as the scripture says, as scripture says, Abraham believed God, and God counted him as righteous because of his faith. He was even called a friend of God. So you see, we are shown to be right with God by what we do, not by faith alone. Rahab the prostitute is another example. She was shown to be right with God by her actions when she hid those messengers and sent them safely away by a different road. Just as the body is dead without breath, so also faith is dead without good works. Okay, so that's James 2, 14 through 26. There's quite a bit to break off there, but there's so much there. So we're going to pick it up right here at the beginning where it says, if you see somebody in need, without food, without whatever, clothes, and all you say is, hey, be blessed, and you don't do anything, what good is that? You know, that's what they're saying. Last night we watched a show on Netflix, and it was called $1 a Day, or Living on One, or something like that. It's about these guys that went to Guatemala, and they were going to live on $1 a day, and just kind of see what it's like to live in poverty, I guess. And they said something that was kind of, I mean, we all know it, but it said something that kind of struck me is $2 a day per person in Guatemala can get you by pretty well. I mean, you can eat and get by. And in America, $2 a day is literally nothing. Like, we waste more than that. But what they said was if each person would help another person, like in a whole different circumstance, so like say me, if I could help one person in Guatemala or Haiti or whatever, if I could just help them with $2 a day, $14 a week, how much difference that would make in their life? That would change their life from like living in poverty and having almost no food, barely getting by, to living a better standard of life. So that's what really struck me here was that connection there. Like, we can say, oh gosh, I wish the people in Guatemala had it better. I wish the people in Haiti had it better, or boy, those poor people, they got hit with an earthquake or a hurricane again. But we don't do anything about it. Like, what good is that? So that was the first thing. You know, we have the ability to do something. We have resources. There's websites. There's things that you can donate money. You can do things. And I mean, donating money is kind of the easiest way, but it's still something. It's a way to change a life big time across the world. That's a worldview. You know, our Christianity, our faith in Jesus shouldn't just be isolated to to our church. You know, that's a good thing. Our church is important, but we need to have a world view of things and see the world as basically a canvas of Christ. That there's things all over the world that need prayer. They need taught the gospel. You know, there's just so much that needs to be done in the world. But anyways, we're already at 5 minutes and we're barely touched the surface here. So it goes on. Where are we at? Okay. So we talked about you can tell somebody to be well, but don't help them. That's what's worthless. So you say, okay, we're done in verse 19. So you say you have faith, for you believe there is one God. Good for you. Even the demons believe this, and they tremble in fear. So what James is saying here is, if your faith hasn't had any impact in the way you are, like in your being, it's not faith. So you can say, oh, I have faith in Jesus. I have for 50 years. I've trusted the Lord for 50 years. But you're still living the same way you were 50 years ago. That's not true faith. That's not what that's not what Jesus died on the cross for, to be frank. There should be a change happening, day by day, a change happening, softening of the heart, death to self, you know, life to Christ every day, picking up your cross and following Him every day, and that's what they're talking about here. You know, you see, you have faith. Even the demons believe this, and they tremble in fear. What he's saying is, even the demons have a response to God. Like, even they have a response. Like, if you've lived in faith or lived in your life and never had a response to God, like you've never responded in any way, even the demons have a response. Even God made an impact on their lives where they live in fear. We don't even do that. We don't even have fear of the Lord most of the time. But there's so much here, and it's so rich. It talks about Abraham and how Abraham's faith his actions worked with his faith to complete it. Just the same as you know, God said that Abraham, you know, was one of his children, one of his true children, because of, I mean, Abraham waited for years and years and years for a promise from God for his son Isaac, and finally Isaac came, and God said, you need to sacrifice Isaac. And Abraham was ready to do it, because that's what God said. He put God above all other things, even above his son, who he treasured. I mean, he really loved his son, but yet God was far beyond, more important than that. So, all right, I'm going to wrap it up just because we're getting quite a long time here. But wow, James 3 or James 2, the last half of James 2 is so good. Read it today if you have time, and tell somebody about Jesus. My kids were talking to me today, and we always talk about telling somebody about Jesus every day. And Isabella had a good idea. She said, if someone compliments my hair, I'm going to say that it's from God, and that's how I'm going to tell them about Jesus. And I thought, that's a good idea, Bella. That's a good way to start a conversation, isn't it? So tell somebody about Jesus. Look for opportunities. See you at church Sunday morning at 10, Whole Life Church on US 12. We'll see you there.